Subscribe to Vids Tube for latest tech related videos. A lot of you guys may not even know about this smartwatch, and many of you may not ever see this retro smartwatch. This is Pebble Time, that was one of the first smartwatch launched in 2015, and after a series of events the company did shut down, but I still have this watch at this point in time and it still works. And in today's video I'll show you guys what this smartwatch did right in the first place that still no other smartwatch has done yet. This was my first smartwatch that got me into the smartwatch tech, and to this date, like all the other 50 plus smartwatches reviewed on this channel, I still have the original box and charger of this Pebble Time. I got the red one as at that time when it was announced, this red Pebble Time was a sensation. In retrospect, I still think that the packaging quality was way ahead of its time. I still remember opening this box up. I got the same kind of feeling while unboxing my Fossil Gen 5 as it had the same style of packaging. Now inside the box there was the watch, a bunch of paperwork, and the proprietary Pogo Pin USB Type-A charger. Comment down below if you still have your Pebble Time that works, and you can even join my Discord server and we can chat further about the Pebble smartwatches. Now since the company is no longer operational, they have stopped the support to its mobile counterpart app, and there is no more updates available for this watch. Again, there are a lot of Reddit threads and Discord group to still keep this watch active, and you can join mine for the same reason. Links are in the video description. Now, unfortunately for iPhone users, the Pebble app is no longer available in the App Store. Unless you have already downloaded the app back in 2015, there is no other way to get the app. Fortunately for Android users, the Pebble app and Frame APK is still available, not officially on Google Play Store, but I have attached the link to the Pebble app in the video description. You will need to allow installation from unknown sources, and a disclaimer here, try this out at your own risk. I'm not the developer and I found this file online. With that said, once the app is installed, when you open the app, you will get this error message that this application was built for older version of Android and may not work properly, but at this point in time this app still works okay for me, and I hope it would for you as well. We will talk about the options in this app later during the video. Now, let me briefly talk about the design. To this date, I still haven't found such a compact and slim designed smartwatch. Certainly, my unit here is a bit beaten up with all the scuffs and scratches, but 8 years later, this watch still works and survived all the rough handling, so this is the most durable smartwatch that I have ever tested over time on this channel. The wristband is made out of silicone and the width is 22mm with the standard push pin lock mechanism. Now you can use any aftermarket 22mm wristband, but this red wristband is original, and 8 years later it still is just like as it came out of the box. The body is 40.3mm tall, which to me is perfect size as it looks good on any size wrist, small or big. This is how it looks on my 6-inch wrist. The width is 39.1mm including the button, so the watch is not that wide and again looks great on both feminine and masculine wrist. The surprising fact is that the thickness is only 9.5mm, which is mind-boggling. Out of all the 50 plus smartwatches featured on this channel, this is the slimmest. In 2015, the fitness sensors like heart rate, SpO2, ECG, etc. were not yet introduced into the smartwatch realm, so the slim form factor does make sense, but due to this, the overall weight of the watch without the wristband is only 24 grams. Man, I can barely feel this watch on my wrist. So I wish some manufacturer takes this watch design as inspiration to make something like this. Now the body is made of plastic and there is a chunky bezel, which at that point in time was no big deal at all. But I wish some manufacturer reduces the size of bezel and have the same quality but larger minimum size bezel e-ink color display. I still remember back in those days customizing Pebble Time's bezel and the wristband was a thing. Then came the circular Pebble Time, which to me felt more like a feminine watch, and hence I didn't end up getting it. But both of these smartwatches were a sensation back in those days. Apart from the design, other features that no other smartwatch manufacturer has yet managed to recreate is this color e-ink display with the backlight. Boy, to this date, I would still prefer this display with a bit of refinement, as this display looks great even in the bright daylight, and moreover the battery life gets boosted significantly, as this display does not consume power like today's power-hungry OLED and AMOLED displays, smartwatches, where you have to think twice to apply always-on display to conserve battery life. At this point in time, the most efficient smartwatch in terms of battery life is the Huawei Watch GT2, and I bet if we were to add this color e-ink display, then with the current battery capacity, this watch would last more than a month instead of its current 2-week battery span. Comment down below your thoughts. Now, in terms of software, I was and still am a huge fan of the timeline user interface design, where with the top and the bottom right button you can toggle through the timeline from the watch face to events by going down, or go up to access health stats and sleep data. You can use the left side button to go back, and the center button on the right is to access the menu, where you can find settings that includes Bluetooth, notifications, vibrations. Boy, to this date I still like the haptics of this watch, and it's amazing. Certainly not like the Apple Watch quality, but at that time no other device was even remotely close to this watch in terms of vibration haptics. Quiet time is where you can schedule day and time to silent your watch. Next is timeline and quick launch, where you are able to customize all the 4 physical buttons with your custom feature. To this date, not a lot of smartwatch offer this level of customization. Next is date and time, is where you can set up time format from 12 to 24 hours or change time zone, etc. Going back, next is display, where you can set language, turn on or off backlight. I remember turning the backlight off would make this watch go even more with the battery life, but the backlight is an important feature, especially at night time for viewing, and the drawback of this e-ink display is that in dark you won't be able to see anything. However, the cool part is that the backlight was motion and ambient sensor enabled, and to this date it's quite responsive. You can even control the intensity of the backlight and time. I wish there was more time than 8 seconds. Going back, there is the background application and system that includes some regulatory information, serial number, version, etc., which if you want I can share with you on my Discord server by screenshotting. And finally, shutdown and factory reset. Further back in the settings menu, you will find music. Yes, this watch at that point in time is able to control the phone's music player with details of the song, timeline, etc. displayed right on the watch. You can also play and pause, control the volume, skip a track forward or backward, and honestly, it's very responsive to this date even after 8 years. Going back in the menu, you will find notifications, where I am able to get notifications from pretty much all the app, and you can even see special characters and emojis, which not a lot of smartwatches are able to display. Certainly images are not displayed, although it would be nice if they did. During a call, you can only decline the call from the watch, but again 8 years back, ability to do that from the watch on your wrist was appreciable, with the ability to see the number or the name of the caller. Next is alarm. Now, this watch was way ahead of its time. Pebble Time offered smart and basic alarm. Smart alarm is where the watch will vibrate when you're in the light sleep cycle than the deep sleep cycle, so you feel more energized when you wake up. Nowadays, only premium smartwatches offer this feature. Plus, I'm able to set the alarm right from the watch. Not a lot of budget smartwatch can do that at this point. I was even able to send text from the preset default replies to selected contact, which is another feature way ahead of its time. Finally, watch faces. Yes, this watch had ability to add a bunch of custom watch faces even a decade ago. Now, since the support of the app has ended, you can't add any more watch faces from the app, although there are ways to do that, which is out of the scope for this video. So if you just imagine that all these was possible on your wrist even 8 years ago, which not a lot of watches offer today, you will appreciate all the features that this watch offered. Now, in terms of battery life, before I even talk about the numbers, keep in mind that this watch has only 58 mAh battery cell, which is even less than the standard battery capacity of most of the modern day earbuds. This is actually ridiculous, as most of the modern day smartwatches now has 300 mAh battery cell. So with this 58 mAh battery cell, this watch to this date after 8 years still goes more than 3 days per charge, which is bonkers. Guess how many months it would last with this 300 mAh battery cell. Now, we are not done here yet. This watch can track your steps, and to this date I have tested the steps from this watch against this Check Me Pro and a bunch of other smartwatches, and it's pretty accurate. The video of this Check Me Pro is linked up in the card section. You can check it out once you're done watching this one. Not just that, this watch can even track your sleep with pretty accurate sleep and wake up time with insights like deep and light sleep. All this data can be accessed from this mobile app. Speaking of mobile app, now that the support has ended, from the top menu under watch faces, you can't add any more watch faces as mentioned earlier. Same thing applies for the apps as well. But under notifications, you can still select all the apps that you want to get notified for and turn off those that you don't want to get notified for. You can also access the settings from this top left icon beside the search bar, where you can change the metrics from imperial to metrics, language settings, and a bunch of other settings. Now, under accounts, you can't log into your Pebble account anymore as they have discontinued their login portal, but fortunately what you can do is under the health stats, you will find the health setting all the way at the bottom. Here's where you can turn on sync with Google Fit, so that way your health data will be updated onto your Google account. You can also update your goal and your biometric data right over here. Now, with all that said, this watch does lack a lot of modern day fitness features, which we do take it for granted, like workouts, heart rate, SpO2, ECG, etc. But 8 years ago, these features were not even existing. So to me, Pebble Time was way ahead of its time, and it sure did lay down a strong foundation where these modern day smartwatches are now based off. I wish some manufacturer would step up and make a pretty close resembling smartwatch with all these features and more enhancement. Comment down below what are your thoughts, and hit that like button if you made it this far. Also subscribe so you don't miss out any upcoming videos. Check these smartwatches out, as you may find them helpful.